The Kingston Crow is a new model for delivering local news and building a shared space for Kingstonians to experience community. Our city has lost some major news sources over the years, and the Kingston Crow wants to expand the existing media landscape. Former Wake Standard writer and editor Ann Kershaw and former senior editor of the Wake Standard magazine, Mary Ann Baudet, join me to tell us about this enlightening murder of news and views. I want to get right on into the thick of things. The Crow is providing a really unique opportunity for Kingstonians to get connected back to the community. But what does that really look like for both of you?
Well, Mary Ann and I have both for a long time lamented the fact that there's not more local news coverage in Kingston. And, there are a number of news sources that are making a valiant effort to cover the local news. And we felt like we wanted to join that group of people and try to provide a more robust media ecosystem for Kingstonians. We think Kingstonians deserve it. This is a brilliant, vibrant city with, major important institutions like Queen's and RMC, smart citizenry, and a municipal government that's facing a lot of, challenges. And so we wanted to enter the fray and contribute to that expanded coverage of local news.
And our goal isn't to compete with the other outlets, it's to augment, to fill in some of the gaps. And the joy of what we're doing is we can pick and choose what interests us. Our writers can pick and choose what interests them, and hopefully our readers find it of value as well.
You both have incredible combined experience in the journalism atmosphere, especially to know and pick exactly what stories you want to be exploring. But I'm curious, can you tell me a little bit more about your histories and the jobs you've worked?
I worked for the Wake Standard for many years as a reporter, as an investigative reporter. Eventually became the city and region editor, where I was managing a newsroom, a very extensive newsroom at that point, because it was during the 80s and 90s, and we had like 45 reporters. So it was a big job, but a very exciting job, because we had the resources to really do some exciting things. And I moved on from that. I was the editorial page editor at the Wig for a period of time as well, which was a great chance to actually be able to weigh in on my own personal views of things, which I have a lot of, so that was really great. And then I went on to work at Queen's as in their media relations area, and eventually became the director of communications and public affairs for Queen's. And again, that was a lot of storytelling and, writing and editing, and all the same skills, the transferable skills, were used in that job as well.
I started out as a weekly newspaper reporter in a small village, Lakefield, for 2 years. And of course, when you're at a weekly newspaper, you have to do everything. So not only did I have to cover the stories, I had to help with the paste up before the printers, and I also delivered the papers on Thursdays. So you get a really good feel of your community when you have to do everything. And I always felt like, for a young person, this was the best possible experience for life, because you learned about so much. From there, we moved to Kingston, and I knew Kingston had a good newspaper, so eventually I became an employee there. I was I worked various areas, mostly editorial page, and also the weekend magazine, which was it was a great job. It was a great environment. You were surrounded by all these colleagues. It was very, very collaborative. So you knew if you were writing a story, you were stuck, you could turn to a colleague and say, can you help me here? Can you read this? What do you think? And so that was a really good experience as well. And from there, I went to Queen's. I was editor of the Queen's Gazette for 6 years.
With the experience, it's clear that the Crow has a really keen ability to, one, tell a story, engage readers, and to really have a really fun pulse onto community as a whole. What I'm curious about is we're seeing a lot of youth not as engaged with the media. Do you have any short answer of why they should be getting involved, one, in reporting on the media, and two, getting involved in being able to see what's going on in their community?
I think there's a lot more awareness these days of how much democracy depends on people being informed and being active in their communities. And I think we're all understanding that more than we ever did before. And of course, media plays a huge role in helping keep people informed, so they they have common points of reference, so they can coalesce around an issue that is important to them, and bring some pressure to bear if they think their elected leaders are going in the wrong direction or whatever. So we at this point aren't in a position to really recruit a lot of young reporters and journalists, which is part of our goal for the future, because as we get more trusted and more people are more aware of us, we hope that we will have a business model that will allow us to bring in people who we can compensate for their freelance activities, which right now we're mostly working on a pro bono basis with people that are in a position and have the means to contribute and want to contribute without necessarily being paid. But we really want to bring more young people into the operation. Into
those younger voices are really important, and I think people, and especially as you get older, you underestimate the value of those young voices. And kids are so much more informed at younger ages than I think we ever were. And so, and so there's certainly a lot of value in being able to draw on that audience and on those skills and talents.
It's part of the reason we wanted to establish the citizen journalist aspect to our the Kingston Crow, where we invite people who think they have a nose for news and who want to learn a little bit more about the basics of writing and editing to sign up for one of our workshops, which we hope to offer, and give people a chance to participate on that level if they choose to. And so that's part of what we want to do, so that at some point we're going to be able to bequeath this operation to a younger generation of journalists.
Accountability is at the foundation and a pillar of news as a whole. Can you just explain that value in terms of the Crow?
Yeah, we think that a city and its institutions thrive when there is a vibrant media that can introduce an element of accountability of the decisions and the actions of their municipal leaders.
I like to think that the stories that we provide, the information, gives the readers the information they need, but it also helps them, gives them the confidence to in turn ask their own questions of these institutions or organizations, and challenge their decisions.
Where can people, find this news and find out how to get more involved?
Substack, the Kingston Crow.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for your interest. We really appreciate it.